Welcome back to part number 4 and my series rebuilding the New York Islanders with their 2025 draft class and #1 overall pick Mathew Schaefer. This is going to be the final video of the series, so we're going to really push for that Stanley Cup. Let's go ahead and jump right in. Picking up at the end of the draft, we only had a couple picks, late round picks, 104 and 199, so I just let the computer take those. Now the big question this offseason is what do we do to try and push ourselves a little bit further? You know, a disappointing season last year, and we do have some decisions to make on contracts as well. Wyatt Johnston is a big one, our second line center, 88 overall, 27 years old. He's going to want a lot of money. Yeah, $12 million is quite a bit for a second line center for us. I think his role is actually probably first line center now. So the question is, do we value Wyatt Johnston more or do we value Matt Barzal more? Barzal is cheaper. He is a little bit better, but he is a little bit older. He does have that gold X factor, though, which I think is a big factor here with Wyatt Johnston does not have that. So Wyatt Johnston might be a guy that we look to move at some point when we get to the re-sign phase. Mathew Schaefer is a guy we definitely have to bring back. He's going to be wanting $6.5 million for 3 years, and that's perfectly reasonable for an 87 overall, 22-year-old defenseman. That is going to eat into our cap a little bit more, but we're going to have to make some decisions on that coming next year. Somebody who might get a cap casually is Maverick Bourque. Potentially Gabriel Perreault, dropped down to an 85 overall this last season. Just not quite the player he was when we first traded for him. So we might be looking to maybe flip these guys for younger, cheaper pieces. They might be a little bit lower in the overall, but just for cap saving sake, we need to do that. Wyatt Johnston, somebody I'd like to bring back. I just mentioned that, but 88 overall, I think he's a big piece of our core. Our goalies are in a good spot right now. Spencer Knight is making $10 million a year, but he's one of the best goalies in the league at 87 overall with a gold X Factor zone ability. And Hildeby is somebody we're going to have to sign to an extension as well, but he's very cheap, so we'll go ahead and take care of that while we're here. And yeah, we'll send around to the re-sign phase and try and get these contracts done for the next year. Again, this is the last season, so we're going to go ahead, possibly make some changes, see what we can do to keep ourselves under the cap. In the re-sign phase, Ryan Pulock is looking to re-sign with us. He does want $6.8 million. But maybe we offer him a full no-move clause for the next 2 years. This being the last year of the rebuild, we can probably get away with that. Maybe get him at $5.6 million, so we'll send this over to him, and he'll get back to us later. That is going to eat into our salary cap and our available space for Wyatt Johnston. The rest of the guys are just AHL-level guys. People are going to clean up. Dylan Sandberg, somebody that I don't think we're going to be able to afford, so I'm going to go ahead and release him to free agency. Mike Binney's going to have to go as well, just wanting too much money. Isaiah George is the guy we're going to bring back. He only wanted $800,000, so that's fine with me. The rest of these guys, I'll just run through, offer them contracts. Probably going to be two-way deals on pretty much all of them, so it's not going to really affect our cap space. And then we'll see what we have left for the big fish in Wyatt Johnston. Pulock is going to be testing free agency for us this year, so that clears up a little bit more space, a little more clarity is on my end. Probably just going to have to go after Wyatt Johnston and see where we land with available space left to replace Pulock in free agency, although I'm not entirely sure what his value will be. Going to enter a negotiation here with Wyatt Johnston, see what we can get done, try and charm him. That seemed to work. See if we can take some money off of this deal. We'll do a 7-year deal like he's looking for. We'll negotiate the salary. We'll maybe do some clauses and see what we are, able to get done here on his extension. The offer we're going to send over to Wyatt Johnston is a $11 million a year for 7 years, a full no-move clause in his contract. We were able to get his ask down by about a little over $1 million. This will leave us somewhere in the $3 to $4 million range unless we clear some more contracts out for free agency to bring in, a second-line defenseman. So we'll go ahead and send that over, and we will wait to see back what he has to say. I might still go back around with Pulock after we know how much money we have left, but he seems like a guy who wants to test free agency, so we might just have to try again in the free agent market. So we'll advance a couple days here. Have a couple scouts coming back. Probably have a couple coaches as well that will be re-signing. And there's Wyatt Johnston. He is back on an $11 million deal. I am probably going to move him to the first line with that kind of money coming in. That will probably put Barzal either expendable or move him down in the lineup to see how that works. But Wyatt Johnston getting paid that much money probably needs to be on our first line. Well, we'll see. We'll see how everything shakes out. Going to circle back into Pulock here. Now we only have $6.4 million in cap space, so I'm wondering if any increases here would bring that ask down for him. or maybe we can offer a no move clause. And we'll just send this over one more time. It's going to take all of our money, but we could always clear some up with some minor moves in free agency. And we let people go or trade. And Pollock's going to come back, so we re-sign both our players. Now we are pretty much out of money. We'll get to free agency also when we can make trades, and so maybe we can clear some out if needed. We're going to try and save a little bit of money and actually get a little better. Looking at Zane Parekh here, 90 overall, right D, two-way defender. And we're going to try and ship out Jake Sanderson, probably our best defender right now. Is an 89 overall, but he just makes a couple million more, about 3 million more than Parekh does. We're going to send off Veerhoff and a 5th round pick in this deal as well. See if we can get this done. And they're not going to accept that, so we'll add in some more picks here until we can get it done. I think saving about 3 million is going to allow us to assign a third pairing D, maybe some depth defenders as well, if we can find the right contracts. And that is that. So Parech's going to come over. He does have a gold X Factor, which I think is actually going to do us wonders. And Mathew Schaefer can go to his more natural side of the left-hand defensive side. Schaefer being a lefty, right D. And yeah, I think these two guys are going to work really well together. We'll pair them up. Now we have Parekh, Pollock, Schaefer, Romanov, Aitcheson. So we have 5. We probably need one more NHL level defender. So we're going to go search free agency for that. If we're not able to find one in our price range, about 3.9 million is how much we have. We might circle in on maybe Maverick Bork being somebody we can move out, since he does make 5 million in that third line center role. Or maybe try and swap out Gabriel Perreault, considering he's gone down to an 85 overall. So we'll take a look around, see if we can find some improvements there as well. The next team I'm looking at is Gabriel Perreault with our prospect Basha and a 2nd round pick over for the Rookie of the Year a couple years ago, Vitali. He is a 2nd line forward, 87 overall, sniper, so he replaced Perreault perfectly, and he is significantly cheaper. You know, if we were going longer than this, 1 year deal would probably be a problem for us, because I don't know if we'd have the money to re-sign him. But we are going to go ahead and send this over to the Oilers, and they're going to accept that. I'm really trying not to go too far into the picks and, you know, really cheese this and go use all of our 1st round picks in the next coming years to upgrade our team. I think next year is probably fine. We are depleting that as well, but we are just trying to get better to make a cup run this year. This is where our window is. So that's going to replace and add us some money in free agency. So now we're going to be up to about 8 million in cap space. You know, not enough to really compete for these top level guys, but enough to sign us a pretty solid 3rd level defenseman and some depth defenders as well. So I'm going to go ahead and look through free agency, see what I can find there, and we'll see how we can close up this team and make another run. For that 3rd pairing, I'm going to sign Jacob Bernard Docker. He only wants 3.4 million. He's a top 6D at 82 overall. I think that's perfect for our final line on defense. And then I'm just going to search through and maybe see if I can find an 80 overall or so depth defender, somebody who can come in and play both sides. You know, somebody like a Poirier. I think that's probably fine. Left and right D, so he can step in on either way. Let me check and see what kind. He's an offensive defenseman, so maybe not him. Probably looking for a defensive defenseman that can do it. Like a Brent Kolak, I think that's probably perfect for us. A defensive defenseman, left and right D, 6'2". We'll go ahead and sign him for, 1.9 is fine. And now we're down to 4.9 million in cap space, but I think that closes pretty much all the holes on our team. So we're going to go ahead and sim to the next season, and we will see what we look like whenever we get to the lines. Here is the lineup for The Last Dance. Eiserman, Johnson's going to move to the first line with Michkov, Matthew Knies, Barzell, and our new Vitali. Eklund, Bork, Marchman on the 3rd line, Texier, Calum Ritchie, and Heineman on the 4th line. I think a really balanced lineup once again. We added Vitali here on the left-hand side. He is a sniper, so he kind of replaced what Perreault brought to us. On defense, Zane Parech's going to step in on the right side. Mathew Schaefer is going to need to play his natural left side. They get a +5 on the 1st pairing. Pollock is back with Romanov on the 2nd pairing, a +3. And then Kashawn Aitcheson and Bernard Docker on the 3rd pairing. Our goalies are going to be Spencer Knight and Hildeby in the backup position. So another great team. I really expect this team to do better than they did last year. Last year, I think, was a bit of a fluke. We missed the playoffs, but we still had a pretty good record. We just need to stay healthy, and we just need to have good chemistry. And I really think this team can make a push for the cup. We're going to sim probably about... We'll go ahead and go to the trade deadline, and we'll take a look at our record, see if there's any tweaks that need to be made at the trade deadline. And then from there, hopefully this can be enough to get us over the edge that we haven't quite gotten there yet. Had to hop back in as we're going, as this team has started 9-0, and we just lost our first game. 9-1 start is a pretty fantastic start for this team, but starting out 10-1-0 at the beginning of the year, 11-2-0 is a great start. I'll check back into the trade deadline, but I just had to show off that amazing start that we had to the year. Simmed a little bit too far into the trade deadline, but we are right now in a wild card spot, so we're not doing fantastic. We're going to get into the trade deadline, see if there's anything that we can do to make this team a little bit better. Just looking at our overall roster, I think our forward lines are actually pretty good. We could maybe use some upgrades on the second or third line, if at all. So I'm just looking through our forwards now, seeing where I think we could use some improvement at. And it might just be time to move on from our first overall pick, or from our fourth overall pick a couple years ago in Marchment. He still has pretty good value. He's an 85 overall. So we'll take a look around and see if we can make any upgrades here. I do think Spencer Knight is doing fine. He's not doing fantastic, but I'm not sure if switching the goalie out right now is the way to go. For the stats on the year, 903, 277, it's not good. I wouldn't say it's one of the better goalies in the league right now. He's probably right about average, but he is an elite goalie, 87 overall, gold, X factor, zone ability. So I don't think we need to go switching him out. Maybe we can upgrade our backup. If anything, he's an 82 overall, but that really won't make a difference when we get to the playoffs. Small upgrade here is going to be Pius Suter, 83 overall. He's going to replace Texier on that bottom line. Going to send over a goalie prospect that we don't need right now. Going to take a low-level goalie prospect back for them just to balance out our goalie roster. Going to send that over. That is going to be accepted. So small upgrade on our fourth line. Going to continue to look through, see if there's anything like that we can adjust, if we can get a little bit better in the small areas. Looking to ship out our fourth overall pick from a few years ago. It's Marchment. Looking to pick up Zach Benson. He's just a little bit older, 87, so a couple overall higher as well. He's also a playmaker instead of a two-way forward, so maybe he provides a little more dynamic offense on the third line. Could also pop up to the second line and there's an injury, so I like that deal for us. I'm going to see if I can get this done just straight up, and I can. So that is another small upgrade for our forward group. I think that's pretty much all we'll do right now. We'll let this run out for the rest of the trade deadline, and we'll pick it back up after trade deadline. I'll show you guys the record. We'll look at our team stats for the year so far and see what we need to do to get into the playoffs. Right now we're in a wild card spot. We're not far out of the third spot with, I believe it's the Penguins who have it right now. We'll take a look at it. We're not far out. We just need to have a good run in the second half of the year, which is easier said than done. The post deadline collapse is real in this game, so hopefully we can get that done and we can get into the playoffs and make some noise once we're there. Here's what the team looks like post-trade deadline. Eiserman, Johnson, Michkov on the top line. Nyes, Barzell, Vitale on the second line. Eklund, Bork, Benson is going to slot it on that third line. We're going to chemistry with him. Suter, Ritchie, and Heineman on the fourth line. So I think we have really good depth. We have some high-scoring forwards, some high overall forwards in the top of the lineup. On defense, looking pretty good. Schaefer's an 88, Parek's a 90. Polak and Romanov on that second pairing. Maybe could be a little bit better. Aitcheson and Bernard Docker on the third pair. So, hopefully this is good enough defense to get it done. And looking at the goalies, it's the same as it has been for the last year. It's going to be Spencer Knight and Hildeby as his backup. Taking a look at the record right now, like I mentioned before, we are in the wild card spot, the first wild card spot, I believe, at 71 points. We are a couple points behind the Penguins. We're not out of reach behind the Hurricanes, or really even the Devils if the rest of the year goes well. Looking at our statistics now for about halfway through the year at the trade deadline, we'll take a look at who our leading scorers are. Michkov has 58 points in 61 games. Eiserman 49 points. Johnson 49 points. So again, we're not getting a ton of point production out of these top guys like I wish we would be. None of them are at a point per game. Take a look at Spencer Knight and to see what his numbers look like. A 903 and a 277. Just average, not good, not great. So we're going to need these numbers to come up if we are going to make a run. We just need to get into the playoffs this year, and then we can make some noise once we are there. So I'm going to sim the rest of the year, see where we end up in the standings, and hopefully we don't have a collapse like we did last year. Just got to the end of the regular season, and the boys battled back. We ended up in first in the division at 103 points. That's far from the best division in the league. Actually ended up being the lowest division leader, but there was a pretty tight race all the way up to the end. Devils ended with 101, Penguins ended with 101, Hurricanes at 98, so everybody was really in contention for that first spot in the division all the way to the very last game. Going to take a look at our regular season stats and see who performed the best for us this year. It's like Michkov had 82 points, so exactly a point per game. He did step it up a little bit. Everybody was kind of under a point per game at the trade deadline, so it's good to see him, get a little bit higher on an average basis and end up with a point per game. Eiserman ended up at 75, so just below point per game. He did put up 32 goals this year, so good to see a little bit of a bounce back from him. Michkov with 30. Johnson put up 70 points in his first year on the first line. Barzal at 58 points. Vitali at 56 points. Zane Parekh, 56 points. Probably the best year out of a defenseman we've seen on the franchise so far. 53 points for Maverick Bourque. 48 points for Zachary Benson. And 47 for Matthew Knies. So a little bit underperformance again for Matthew Knies. We've seen that this whole series. Matthew Knies just hasn't put up the point totals that we needed him to in most cases, especially for his overall at times was all the way up to an 88, 89. Pius Suter was at 35 points, so pretty good from a fourth line guy that we had playing there. Eklund at 35, Heineman at 26, and Pollock at 22. Mathew Schaefer, again, only 20 points. He's just not scoring the puck. He's just not putting it in high danger areas. He did deal with some injuries again this year, but Mathew Schaefer's been, I'd say, probably the biggest disappointment in terms of point scoring this series. Went over the goals a little bit earlier, but we'll go ahead and sort by goals and see who ended up. So it was Eiserman at 32, Michkov at 30, Bourque at 24, so a big scoring year out of him. Johnson at 22, Vitali and Barzal round out the only people above 20 on our team. I'm going to take a look at our goalie and see how Spencer Knight did. He ended pretty much how he was at the trade deadline, a 905, a 269. 269 is not too bad at a goals against, but a 905 is a little bit on the lower side for saves. I'm going to take a look at the entire league now and see what everybody did around the league. See who led the league in points and goals. Go ahead and look at goalies since we're already on here. Wins was Joseph Wall, followed by Ottinger, Skinner, Wallstedt, and then Knight at 36. Save percentage, it looks like nobody was really too standout this year. At a 916 out of Joseph Wall, a 226 goals against average out of Joseph Wall. Spencer Knight had a 269, which seems to be right about average for the league this year. Kind of take a look at our skaters. Leading the league in points was McDavid with 113, Matthews with 109, Draisaitl with 108, Pasternak with 107, and Matt Boldy is going to round out the top 5. The Wild have had some interesting scores in this franchise. I know we saw Marco Rossi up here at one point. Kaprizov's been up here several times, and now we got Boldy up here. So definitely a team that has been at a long run here of having big points on their team. In terms of goal scoring, take a look. Pasternak hit 70 goals this year at 34 years old. Draisaitl hit 60. Matthews hit 58. So the usual suspects are putting up huge goal numbers like usual. And that's pretty much it for the entire league of scoring. Now we can jump to the playoffs, see how we can do there. Again, we just needed to get in, is what I kept saying. We'll make some noise, but we ended up first in division. We'll have home ice at least through the first round or two, and we'll see who we match up with in the first round. It's going to be the Carolina Hurricanes this year. We matched up with them before. Game 1, we're going to take in an overtime win. Taking out Game 2. And this is the big run for us, so I am going to keep a pretty close eye on these games. I want to make sure, if I need to jump in, I will. I want to make sure this is a deep playoff run. Pollock is back from injury. He was out with injury, so it's good to have him back for the playoff run. We lose Game 2, go into Game 3. Hopefully we can take the split. We do. It's in overtime again. So 2 overtime wins for us and a regulation loss. Going into Game 4, hoping to make a demanding lead of a 3-1. And we do take a pretty demanding lead here. Going to try and put the Hurricanes out of their misery early, get some rest in a Game 5, and we aren't able to close it out, so we're going to go to Game 6. Hopefully we can close this one out, because I'd rather not have to do a Game 7 in round 1, and we're going to Game 7. So we're going to go ahead and simulate up to this day, and we're going to sim this game so that we can watch and jump in if needed. Here in the first period, 0-0, Carolina's going to have a power play. They do get a shot, and they do get a goal. It's going to be Aho, another tight angle goal on the power play. We are going to have a power play now, see if we can respond, and we do. Zane Parekh right in front of the net on the power play is going to tie this game at 1-1. Under 1 minute, and we're going to take a 1-1 tie into the second period. Underway in the second period now. Islanders power play. No goal. Carolina is able to hold them. And now under 10 minutes. Shots are even at 17-17 so far, so it seems like a pretty evenly matched game. The scores is 1-1. Carolina power play comes and goes. Now the Islanders on power play, it also comes and goes. And we are going to go to the third period and a tie game. We're going to take a look at this if it does continue to be a tie game closer to the end. So Hurricanes power play early in the period. A long one, and they get a goal. I'm going to go ahead and pause this at right around 15 minutes. If we don't tie it up soon, I am going to jump in here and try and get this game back. Game 7, big game for us. Let's jump in. All right, it's going to be Johnston here on the face-off. Wins it back. He's going to try and get the puck in deep here. Going to create some scoring chances, and Pollock just throws it down the ice. Going to be chased down by Carolina. Behind the net, we're going to rub him off. Pause. Eiserman's going to pick the puck up at the red line. Skate to the blue line. Try and get the puck out in front, and it can't get to Johnson. It's cut off in the middle. Mathew Nye seems to be leading our team in points here with 8 points, as you saw on the leaderboard there. So not a great regular season out of him, but, you know, playoff Nyes, I'll take it. And Benson's going to put a shot. That one almost ricocheted in. The puck to the blue line. Tries to get it over to Barzal, but it gets cut off. Barzal does pick it up now, takes a shot, and that one squeaks in. It just goes right through the goalie, finds a little hole, and we are tied up late in the third period. It's just a good shot from Barzal, find a little bit of a window, seeing it through the armpit. 3 minutes now left in the period. Good to tie it up, but I would like to finish this one before overtime, if possible. Svechnikov is going to put a shot out in front, and that was dangerous. It looked very close to going in and ricocheting off our defender. Now here's Vitali. Over to Perek. Perek takes a shot. Big rebound to the corner. Looking to the middle for Michkov. Deflection just doesn't go anywhere. Gets caught up in traffic. And Svechnikov's going to pass it up. Aho could have a little bit of a rush here if he can get the shot off. Knight's going to glove it. Going to keep it moving. Had a little bit of time there. 10 seconds left in the period. We're just going to poke the puck away and hold on to it for overtime. So we are able to tie. It's Mathew Barzal, unassisted in the third period. We'll take this one into OT. Next goal wins. It's going to be a stressful 20 minutes or so as we try and get through this game and on to the second round. It would be a bummer to lose in the first round after retooling this team and making a run to the first position in our division. Johnson now behind the net. Going to look for Perek. Over the top, hold. Takes a shot. Looking for the deflection, but looks like Michkov got absolutely cleaned out in front. Michkov now fighting for the puck from Zamula, but he ends up getting away. Dangerous bouncing puck here. Svechnikov out in front, and a big save by Knight. The puck just bounced right to him now. Werenski poked away by Johnston. Big shot, and Knight with the save again. Up to Mathew Nyes. Here's our playoff performer. Going to hold up, cut to the inside, take a shot, looking for traffic. It just gets blocked by Kochekov. Now a shot by Nyes, and Nyes scores. The playoff performer, Mathew Nyes, ends the game, sends us to round 2. So now moving on to the second round, we'll sim forward, see who we're facing in round 2. It's going to be a repeat. The Devils again. So this seems like the two teams that we face every single year. We'll simulate the first game. It is a win. Good to see. We'll simulate the second game. Hopefully we can take a 2-0 lead. And we cannot. Tied up 1-1. Big game 3 here. See if we can take game 3. And we cannot. Huge game. We cannot go down 3-1. We are going to jump in and sim it. And again, looking to make a deep playoff run. I will jump in the third period if I need to. All right, first period here underway. So far, only one shot on goal about 4 minutes into the game. Now New Jersey's going to get a couple on the goal. Power play for the Islanders, and Nyes scores again. Huge playoff performance by Mathew Nyes, but a power play for the Devils. Can we get through it? And we can. Hold them to no goals there. And we're able to get through this one again. The penalty kill holding strong. Down to about 6 minutes left in the first period. Still a 1-0 lead for the Islanders. And we get to the end of the first period with a 1-0 lead for the Islanders. Under 10 minutes now. Still holding that 1-0 lead. Power play for the Devils, though. And they do not score on this one. So penalty kill is going 3 for 3 so far this game. Huge performance from them. Devils are starting to rack up the shots, and they will get one through Knight. It's going to be Beauvillier. So it's tied up 1-1 going into the third period. And we will take this moment by moment. If still tied about 10 minutes left to go in the game, I will jump in. Or if we get down like that, Timo Meier is going to take the lead for the Devils. So we're going to jump in, try and bring this one back. Would really prefer not to go down 3-1 in a series in the second round again. Clark's going to take the puck off the faceoff over to Bratt, over to Calum Ritchie, skates across the blue line. Calum Ritchie trying to go behind the net, pass out in front to Heineman. He gets a good shot away, but kicked out by the goalie. Now Bratt up to Meier, the guy who put them ahead by one, takes another shot, and that one just squeaks by the post. Big save there. Eyes is up there in the top 3 with playoff goals with 8. Looks like Eiserman was also on the leaderboard. Wyatt Johnston throwing the body around, 23 hits so far in this playoffs. Not much of a hit guy in real life, so interesting progression from him in the game. He's going to lose another face-off. Siegenthaler goes up to Sorelli. Sorelli's going to have it poked off by Perret. Battle in the corner, over to Sorelli right up front, and a big save by Knight. He gets poked down by Johnson and right to Bunting, and a good stick by Mathew Schaefer. Pass over to Eiserman. 3 minutes left. We're going to have to pull the goalie pretty soon. Here's Eiserman cutting in. He gets a good shot away, but it doesn't get through the goalie. Trying to get around one guy. Over to Barzell. Can't quite get it through. The goalie is down. Need to pull the goalie. I'm going to go ahead and pull a timeout here and just pull the goalie manually. We're going to throw a puck on net, gets knocked down, and now Novak's going to take the puck out. Beauvillier is going to come out right as the goalie goes away, and they're going to put it out in, and it's going to be a 3-1 lead in the series for the Devils. We'll advance the game. We're going to take these sim by sim, see if we can't, get this close, maybe force a game 7. Right here in the first period, 2 shots for us, no shots for the Devils so far. About 5 minutes in, they are going to get a power play though. They do get a shot off on the power play, but no goals, so the penalty kill holds once again. And we are scoreless, heading up to 5 minutes left to go in the first period. Love to see one of our guys get on the board, one of our top guys like Johnston or Michkov even. Somebody like that on that first line to really put us ahead, but looks like we're going to carry a 0-0 tie into the second period. Still 0-0, approaching 10 minutes left to go in the second period. Starting to get a little bit of an advantage on the shots, up to 15 now, and the Devils only have 12. And we have a goal. Zane Perek, another playoff goal for him, and immediately after that, we got Aitcheson. I believe that's his first playoff goal for us in the simulation. So it's great to see the 2025 draft pick. Big power play for us. Can we go up 3-0? We cannot. 2-0 though, into the third period. That is a great lead to have going into the third. Let's see if we can hold it. And Michael Bunting immediately gets a power play goal to put it at 1-2. We just have to hold on for 15 more minutes in this game, preferably, a little bit more than 15 minutes. Barzell's going to get us a huge insurance goal, super tight angle. Would love to get another insurance goal, and there is Michkov, almost the exact place as Barzell. So we're going to go 4-1 in the third period. Surely this game is put away. And sure enough, that was it. 4-1 for the Islanders. We do win that game to force a game 6. So we need to do that one more time to get to a game 7. Go ahead and sim the game. I'm going to try and watch this one closely as well. Hoping to force a game 7 here. Not much going on in the first 15 minutes. Shots. The Devils are starting to rack up a couple shots here. They went from 2 to 5 in about a minute. But we're coming back 4-5 now on the shots. 0-0 to the score as we get under 10 minutes in the first period. Coming up on 5 minutes, still 0-0. No power plays so far either. The Devils do have a couple more shots than us, and we do have a goal. Vitali from a super sharp angle right at the end boards. That's a huge goal for Vitali. He's going to put us up 1-0 at the end of the first. So going into the second period, we do have a lead. Trying to force game 7. We need to hold this league the best we can. And Noah Cates is going to take it away. Ties it up. It's a shot. Looks like from right about the top of the circle. And Vitali is going to score again in tight, sharp angle. That's going to put us up 2-1. Big power play here. No goal for us. New Jersey's penalty kill holds. Coming up on under 10 minutes, and Noah Cates ties. It's a Noah Cates and Vitali matchup right now. And Siegenthaler is going to join the party and put the Devils up by a goal. We need to get this one back before the third period. If not, we will be jumping in at the start of the third period. Just too big of a game to let this one roll much longer. under 2 minutes. We starting to rack up some shots at 20 shots now, but we're going to take a 2-3 deficit into the third. We're going to jump into this game once again. Start of the third period, Wyatt Johnson's going to take the face-off, and he will lose the face-off. Has not been good on the face-offs in the dots while I've been playing. We got a 2-on-1. Eiserman takes a shot, and Skinner with a huge save. Good save there. The defender took the pass away, so we just had to take the shot. Had a little bit of traffic in front of him as well, so that is a good save from Skinner. Wyatt Johnson continues to throw the body around. Apparently, he's turned into a power forward for us. Timo Meier's going to have it poked away, chased down by Eiserman. He's going to cut to the outside. Gets a little bit of a step, tries to go to the backhand, and poked away by Skinner. Another great play by him, but it's going to be skated out by the Devils. Timo Meier at the blue line over Cirelli. Cirelli with a huge shot, and Spencer Knight can't corral the rebound. Cirelli's going to make this a 2-goal game late in the game. Romanov's going to steal the puck, skate away, pass it up to a playoff performer, Nice. He's going to drop it back to Vitali. Vitali with a shot, big rebound, and it's going to come in off of Skinner. That is a hat trick for Vitali in the playoffs, Game 6, and we are within 1 goal. We still have 7 minutes left. This is definitely a doable comeback. We just have to push for offense and take some risks to try and get this tying goal. Up to Nyes, makes a move around the defender, makes another move over Eklund, can't quite get a good shot away, but Eklund has the puck again, bounces off of Skinner. Nyes is going to go to the corner. Eklund now battling for it, pokes it forward, back to Nyes. 2-man game there for a second, but it is poked out to Novak. Off the wall to Michkov, and he's going to skate forward, and this is where we're going to pull the goalie. I'm going to pull the goalie in the middle of the play and keep it rolling. Michkov going to come down. Michkov gets it taken away. Up to Bratt, going to have to jump the route. Now here's Hughes, gets it poked away, still gets a shot away, and he scores. Somehow the puck just stayed glued to his stick. Looks like this is going to end the series, probably going to end the video. And unfortunately, we're just not going to be able to get past the second round. The Devils were our kryptonite. They eliminated us several times. The Hurricane eliminated us a couple times. Still 52 seconds left, but it's just going to be hard to get 2 goals in that short period of time. And how a long stretch pass to Bratt. We're going to have to start jumping routes, see if we can create some offense. Here's Vitali, over for Barzell. Barzell to Vitali, and he scores. 4 goals in a game for Vitali. Is it going to be enough? I don't think so. It's going to be tight. We'll see if we can maybe get another one here soon, but either way, a legendary performance in an elimination game for the Islanders. 26 seconds left. We're going to really have to push here if we want to tie it up. Barzell does win the face-off. Now tries to get out in front for Benson, and it doesn't go. Had to jump, try and rip out. Now Cirelli's going to be a break-in. It's 2-on-0. Big save by Knight. He's going to keep it alive for us. Perek now can't get the puck away from the 2 Devils in front of him. Now Perek's going to get it up. Only have 2 seconds left, though. Benson trying to cut inside. Shot, and it's not going to get to the net. That's going to be it for the video. That's going to be it for the series. We'll take a look at the rest of the playoff stats just to see where we end up. Pretty disappointing end. We really could never get anything going. Taking a look at the playoff stat for our team, Eiserman did have a point per game in the playoffs. So did Michkov, and Nyes was 1 below. 8 goals for Nyes, 5 for Eiserman, 5 for Vitali, 4 in that last game alone. So he tried his best to keep us out of the elimination, but he just couldn't quite do it. 9 points for Perek, 13 points for Michkov, 9 for Barzell. I think the big story here was just the fact that Mathew Schaefer was pretty invisible in the regular season, pretty invisible in the playoffs. Never could quite get it going with him. And we really didn't have a premier player for most of the time. You know, we had some guys that it looked like they could eventually get up there. I know Eiserman had a couple years where he was an 88, 89 overall. Traded for Michkov at a 90 overall, and he was good. He just wasn't quite that superstar we needed. Barzell stuck around right at a 90 overall the whole time as well. So a lot like the Islanders in real life, we've really lacked that superstar offensive threat to carry us, you know, to the next level. On defense, though, I feel like we were solid throughout the whole time. Especially, you know, we went from a 2-pair of Pulock and Pelech, 2 guys that have been in the Islanders organization for a while now. We went from them. We traded for a couple guys, and I think in the end we ended up with a really strong defense as well. Just could never make it over the finish line, could never make it past that second round. So unfortunate end to the video, but it was a fun rebuild to see what we could do with these, you know, 3 draft picks that the Islanders were able to acquire in the 2025 draft. They all three ended up making an impact. Eiserman ended up making probably, I would say, the biggest impact for us long term, especially. The Devils do end up winning another Stanley Cup, so that's 2 years out of the last 2 playoffs that we've been in that the Devils have gone on to win the cup after eliminating us. And that is just how the cookie crumbles sometimes. Take a look one last time at the awards and at the overall playoff stats for every team. Your final award winners are McDavid's going to win the Art Ross Trophy, as well as the Hart Trophy, so Hart and Hart stay intact the entire video. James Norris is going to go to Seth Jones. Interesting. I'd like to see how old Seth Jones is at this point, but he breaks up the Makar and Bouchard dynasty. Lady Byng is going to go to Pasternak for the second year in a row. Calder is going to go to Marin. Conn Smythe to Jesper Bratt. Vezina is going to be Joseph Woll on the Panthers. Interesting. And as well as the Jennings goes to Wall. Bill Masterton goes to Simone Edvinsson. Jack Adams is going to go to Cato in Seattle. The Selke is going to go to Bedard for the second year in a row. Ted Lindsay to Draisaitl. And the Rocky Richard to Pasta. We're going to look at the playoffs one last time, see what the Devils did to win this one again. I mean, Devils honestly had a pretty big dynasty in this rebuild. Several championships for them. In terms of the playoffs, Mikko Rantanen of my Dallas Stars led the playoffs with 32 points. 20 goals for him, a great playoffs. He was tied with Jesper Bratt, 12 goals, 20 assists for Jesper Bratt. Barkov had 29 points. Tkachuk had 27. Jack Hughes with 27. Reinhart. Rube Hansel with a good playoffs with 23. And Jason Robertson, 23. And Marty Necas to round us out at 21. In terms of goal scoring, Rantanen did lead with 20 goals by quite a large margin. It was, again, Matthew Tkachuk with 14. Hughes with 13. Brett with 12. And Cirelli with 10 are the only guys in double digits for the playoffs. In terms of goalies, take a look at their stats. Skinner did end up getting the best of Ottinger, a tale as old as time. Skinner really didn't play that well. 894 save percentage, a 311 goals against, so really not very good at all. Jake Ottinger with a 916, 260, but he ended up on the losing end for the Stanley Cup. Wall had a pretty below average Stanley Cup playoff as well. 899 on the save percentage, 320 allowed. Sogard had a pretty good one, 926 with a 225 goals against allowed, and they were the only guys in double-digit wins. Spencer Knight here was 6, had a 901, 278, so I'd say a pretty mediocre playoffs as well as a pretty mediocre regular season, so trade for him wasn't really the solution that we were looking for. Other than that, I'll give you one last look at how we ended up with our team in terms of the progress report. So we can sort by the current overall here, and you can see who our top players were. Michkov ended up at a 91, Parekh at a 90, Knight at 88, Johnson at 88, Eiserman, probably the best player that the Islanders drafted in terms of this rebuild, at an 88, Schaefer at an 88, but never really put up the stats that would correlate with that. Zach Benson, a good trade for us at 87, Barzell 87, Matthew Nyes 87, and the rest of the guys are down here. If you want to look at them, feel free. And that will do it for part number 4 and my series, rebuilding the New York Islanders with the 2025 draft class and number 1 overall pick, Mathew Schaefer. Not the result we wanted after 5 or 6 years, but it was still really fun to see these guys come up in this draft class and start, establishing themselves in the NHL. If you liked the video, make sure to hit it with a like. I really do appreciate you guys sticking around. This was the first time I've ever recorded a rebuild and put it on YouTube, so I'm hoping to only get better from here. I do plan on doing more rebuilds just like this one in the near future, so make sure you subscribe to my channel. And I appreciate all your support, and I will see you next time.